One day, while searching the depths of Craigslist, I found something that caught my eye, a $30 computer. But not just any computer, an Intel-based server. This is the story of the weird server that I found on Craigslist. So, after picking the computer up and bringing it home, it was already apparent that this was no ordinary PC. First of all, it's massive. Here it is right next to my main computer. And additionally, it's very heavy, almost double the weight of my aforementioned main PC. You might be asking, who's it made by? Dell, HP, Lenovo maybe? And well, it's made by none of them, but rather by Intel themselves. After looking around a bit, I eventually found a model number. It's the Intel Server Chassis SC5295UP. Catchy name, huh? Anyway, it's an entry-level server tower made by Intel more than a decade ago. So that begs the question, what kind of specs does it have? After sliding off the toolless side panel, we can take a look inside. First off, it has the Intel Xeon E3110, clocked at 3 GHz on its 2 cores. On paper, it performs the same as the Core 2 Duo E8400, which is still a decent chip for regular tasks and maybe some light gaming. It also has 4 gigs of DDR2 RAM, clocked at 667 MHz. It's pretty slow, and there's not much of it, but I'll address that problem a little later. And now the graphics card. We've got the GeForce 6800, in this case by MSI. For some quick specs, it has a core clock of 325 MHz and a memory clock of 300 MHz. Pretty fast for 2004, but really slow if you want to run anything new. That is, if it will even start, because this is a DirectX 9 part. Additionally, the computer has a 350 watt power supply and two 250 GB Seagate hard drives, which are held in by these handy toolless clips. All in all, it's a pretty nice system for $30. Before continuing, I wanted to see if I can get an OS on it. After fiddling around with some BIOS settings, I finally got it to boot off of a USB drive. In this case, I'll be installing Windows 7, as for some reason Windows 10 was taking up 80% of the GeForce 6800's VRAM just at the desktop, and trying to run games just wouldn't work. At long last, the system has a copy of Windows and seems to work great. So how about some upgrades? That's a whole story in and of itself. First, I upgraded the RAM. Along with the system, I got a more traditional desktop for $10, which I've decided to part out due to the motherboard having too bad an upgrade path and generally being mediocre. The other parts you might see in a future video. Anyhow, it had 2 more 2 gig sticks of DDR2, which worked perfectly in this computer and brought it up to its maximum of 8 GB of RAM. The CPU I can't upgrade quite yet, as I'm not able to get a hold of any Core 2 quads or better Xeons at the moment, so I'll save that for later. Back to the graphics card. Well, I tried to use my GTX 750 in the system, but no matter what, it just wouldn't boot. I tried everything in the BIOS, troubleshooting for hours, but it just didn't seem to work in this system, which is really unfortunate because that leaves us stuck with the old and underpowered GeForce 6800. Now that the system is upgraded and all ready to go, there's not much else to say, so let's jump right into the benchmarks. So, as you saw from the benchmarks, it's definitely not too great at gaming, but that is far from its purpose. In fact, I did so just for our own amusement. At heart, the system is a server, not a gaming PC. In a product brief, Intel listed it being ideal for web hosting, basic database management, file and print sharing, and remote access services. But it's still fun to see what kind of gaming performance it's able to pull off. And hey, if I can get another graphics card and a quad-core CPU in the system, maybe I'll make a follow-up, but only time will tell. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.